Yahoo! Hey everybody, this is Brett. And I always get just a little bit nervous in regards to these live things because, you can't go back and you can't edit anything. That's it. The only thing I could do is delete it. So anyways, well, here I am. And it is Sunday night, and I'm welcoming everyone that has already made a little chat on the side to Wendy and Angela, and who else? Just Wendy and Angela. Hey, y'all, welcome. And let's see, we've got 9 people here, and I've got 4 thumbs. Oh, 14. Oh, my God. I'm so excited. Wow. That's like a giant stadium of people watching me. Hopefully it'll get up to at least 18. Anyway, so let's get down to business, baby. I have written down a whole lot of things that I would like to talk about or ask you about. And I'll try and keep, hey, Julie, hey, Daniel, hey, Anita, hey, Jen, sing more Merle Haggard. I don't know any Merle Haggard songs. Merle Haggard. If my last name was Haggard, how would that be for somebody that was trying to promote health and healing? Everyone would be like, you look so Haggardy. Okay, so let's just do a little test. No, let's wait till we get more people before we do that test. So did y'all click on the links or the notifications bell so that you get notifications every time I do one of these things? That would be really good. If you haven't, you got to click on that little bell next to the subscribe button on all my videos. And if it has 2 little lines next to it, that means that you are notified. Yes, 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 yes. Hey, Joe, welcome, man. Welcome, Joe. If I could only see all of you guys, if I could see all of you, that would be even better. Maybe we'll arrange a little Skype thing. I just don't know that my internet is fast enough out here, And you live out in the country, you got really good air, you got really good water, but there's a lot of things that are really lacking. And one of them is fast internet. But I'm blessed. I am blessed. If anybody has a website, and they would like to do a link trade with my website, brettsnaturalhealth.com, please send me an email. A link trade is like, I put a link for your website on mine, and you put a link for my website on yours. And that increases our website strength on Google. And it's really a good thing. And so, to get my Millet Hole Pillows page back up on the first page of Google, I need some more link trades. So let's see. We're going to possibly talk about the immune system. We might talk about the moon and your experiences with that. We might talk about the mindset that you're going to die, which every single person has in this world to one degree or another. We might talk about muscles mysteriously tightening up. We might talk about something political that bothers me. And I want to mention that anyone that would like to make a donation and also get their chat comment lighted up like Las Vegas can click on that little money symbol down on the bottom and then just put your PayPal or whatever it asks you for it, and you can make a $2. And I want to thank Mario. Last time we'd had a live, Mario donated $2 2 times, $4. Mario, that was cool. But see, I didn't really know about that. I didn't remember the super chat thing. The super chat is pretty cool, you know, and you guys could make a donation. So thank you, Mario. Thank you. Let's see. Y'all should check out the No Erasing album from Steve Perry. That's newly, not brand new, but came out a month or so ago. I listened to it yesterday, and it's really, really good. Even though Steve is much older and his voice isn't as great as it once was, he was once called The Voice, you know. And most of you know Journey songs, but he still sounds really good. And his music is so mature, you know. That's the thing. When you get older, you don't look quite as vibrant, but if you eat good and you think good and all of that, then you'll mature into this new thing. Hopefully you see that within me and appreciate it. Anyways. I want to thank people that have purchased my products real quick. Would that be cool? Would that be okay with y'all? Because I really do appreciate people that have gone to my site and my Millet Hole pillows, like Joan Kaplan and Buchar Nali. Buchar bought something and, several things, and I'm sending them to New York, but YKC Toe bought a body pillow, and I'm sending that to Singapore. And it costs slightly more for the shipping, actually, $125 for a $120 body pillow. Worth it, though. Worth it. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Larry, for buying a soother tool. Thank you, Rachel, for buying a couple of pillows, I believe. Thank you so much. She bought a couple of pillows, probably for her parents, and I'm sending those out. They're out in the car, in the box, going to UPS in the morning. Chris Dooley bought Chris Tooley bought a soother, thank you. And Linda, my very good friend Linda, bought a pillow for her daughter, I believe it is, with a pink cover on it. Yolanda bought a soother, and Jennifer Crowley. I have to tell you, when I think of the name Crowley, you know what I do? Jennifer Crowley. You know the Mr. Crowley song. Sorry, Jennifer, but thank you for buying a pillow from me. I'm sure that you're going to enjoy it. And Lisa bought a soother. A lot of people buy soothers, but you see, they don't realize that they really, really need a foot friend too. You really need a foot friend, because these you can step on with your full weight and really do an ass kicking, like get the job done fast and really, really do a lot better job. So anyways, Alex Gutierrez, thank you for buying. Let's see, what did Alex get? Alex got a soother and a shindig. That's right. The other day, I had to go out in damn cold weather and make a shindig for Alex. Thanks, Alex, so much for buying those things. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to go over the comments here really quick and see. See if there's anything particularly interesting. When you're ready, you are ready. Yes, soon. Please comment about the throat neck muscles tighten. Yeah, the throat neck muscles tightening. Thank you for all your hard work. You're welcome, Laura. Hello, Carla. And Wendy and Cybernetic. Greetings from Australia. Thanks for answering my email earlier on enemas. You're welcome. You're welcome, man. I think I just got an email back from you, didn't I? Yes. Jesse. You're welcome. Okay. So. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Should we get that out of the way? Muhammad Al-Jari. Yeah, I think it's really disgusting that not only just Trump decides to turn a blind eye to the American journalist getting killed. But, you know, and this is just going to be quick. I know a lot of you don't like politics, yada, yada. But I think that it's just really disgusting that he and presidents for decades have just let Saudi Arabia do whatever they want to. And, you know, that's what happens when somebody's got you by the balls and they're selling oil to you, or they have a strategic position next to some other countries that you want, like Persia, like you want to, you know, have influence over because of whatever reason, then you just bow down. Anything to you, Saudi Arabia. We don't care what you do. We'll give you as many weapons. Oh, and you want to buy weapons from us, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so basically, I think it's all a rash of crap and really stupid to sell high-tech weapons to somebody that's that primitive. Okay, somebody that's able to call the shots in a crucial area of the world that's that low Neanderthalian, so primitive. It's just disgusting. So anyways, let's move on. Okay, so out of the things that I mentioned, does anybody have a preference? Angela, thank you. Thank you. Angela just sent. Can you discuss the immune system? Viral infections, sinus infections, cold and flu season, and pressure points and natural remedies for colds. Okay, so the first thing, and I hate to harp on this again, but the first thing that comes to mind when cold and flu season hits is like, oh, my head is clogged. I can't breathe. I can't hear. I'm coughing up boogers and all of that. Okay, so the less dairy foods that you eat and mucus forming foods that you eat, the less infections of your head and sinuses and bronchial areas that you're going to get. And, you know, bear in mind, everybody, that I tell you these things not because I'm some kind of a so-called expert with some kind of a thing hanging on my wall, other than my 100,000 subscriber play button and Maura's picture that she hand drew of me, my friend Maura in the UK. But from experience, I've been doing this for a long time, and one of the first things that I was told by an allergist that I paid in San Diego in the very early 90s, about 91, was that I was allergic to all of these different things. They did all these tests on this arm where they poked it, and then they put a little drop of each concentrated thing on there, of a bunch of different foods and a bunch of different pollens, etc. And the ones that swelled up the most, the body's reaction to it, those were the ones that showed that I was most allergic to those things, okay? And wheat and dairy were high on that list. And I learned just from trial and error over the next many years that if I went back to eating wheat or dairy or other glutinous grain, digestion. Okay, and then it actually took me, this is how hard it was for me. Like I told you, it took me 6 months to get off of sugar. And that I 6 months before I stopped rolling around and sweating and having candy dreams all night. But it took me 8 years to completely get off of wheat and dairy. So it's been a very slow process for me, y'all. Very slow. And as I gradually got rid of dairy, all my acne went away. And I learned that it was all that dairy mucus that was clogging a lot of stuff. For some reason, it really clogs your head a lot, and your sinuses and your bronchial passages, your whatever they call that. So it really clogs all that. The more you create stagnation in the body, the more you get bacterial infections, problems, and cancer and viruses, all the different kinds of bad invaders that we don't want in our bodies. And dairy is so addictive. And so that's the first thing that comes to mind. You know, when I got rid of dairy, a whole lot of my lung and sinus and ear problems, as well as the thing that really, really plagued me mentally, the acne, just magically went away. Well, not magically, because you see, it took many years, and I figured it took it just seemed like it took like 5 years after I quit of gradually working it all out of my body. Because like, I have a video where I talk about how to make natural glue. If you look that up on YouTube, you'll probably find my video, how to make natural glue. And I tell people, like, if you want to make natural glue, you need one of two things, or both, wheat or dairy, because wheat has gluten in it, which is really sticky. So if you want to make a paper mache project or something like that, then you get yourself some wheat and you mix it with water and you make a paste, and it really works good, like Elmer's. Or you can make dairy glue. And that's because dairy has casein in it, and that's really sticky. And, you know, when we stick ourselves up or when we gum our bodies up, then it numbs us. Okay, so everything that is like a slow metabolizer, for lack of a better word of my understanding, really, everything that gums you up and slows you down and thick, like a higher viscosity of blood, like comparing it to oil, motor oil in a car. So everything that gums you up more and makes you your skin look more caked and white, all of that kind of stuff really slows down your body processes. But it also makes it so that you get a break from healing. It gives you a break. So you may actually need to do that. I didn't want to take this long. You may actually need to slow down, okay? So you may need to take a break to give your organs of elimination a break, because maybe you're detoxing too hard because you decided to just go for it. And so you stopped eating meat and dairy and wheat and sugar and every freaking thing all one time, and that's all you'd eaten for your whole life. Donuts and pizza. And so all of a sudden you have gotten yourself into trouble, and now you kind of need to take a break. And so you go back and you fall off the wagon. But so yeah. Okay, so the first thing, like definitely should be to get off of the things that are causing your body to not be able to fight back against infections, because you're going to go to work and you're going to be exposed. You're going to go to the store. You have to be exposed to humans here and there and everywhere. And they're going to have the flu. And they're all eating their donuts, but you're trying not to eat yours. But the problem is that if you don't allow things to flow, it's just like a river that gets blocked up. And you start to notice the garbage and the sewage on the sides and the foam on the sides of the river around where the river is starting to get backed up from logs or whatever it may be. And if it's not flowing freely, then you're going to get infections, like a pimple. Okay, so yeah. And you can start, like, definitely get rid of like start reading the labels and make sure that you're not consuming any bad oils. Only consume unrefined oils. And all coconut oil, for the most part, is unrefined. But it should say on the bottle, on the package, unrefined olive oil, extra virgin, yada, yada. Coconut oil, same deal, because all of those foods are heavy foods. And if you've been consuming dairy fed at all meats, like those crappy, nasty Tyson chickens, all of that excess fat and not good quality fat has stagnated and built up in your body. And so you're going to be extra sensitive to fats. I mean, a lot of people can be extra sensitive to fats. And I've talked about this before, where if there's a particular type of a food that you've abused and you've now become sensitive to, other things with similar properties are going to affect you. And you're not going to know why. You're going to be like, I can't eat anything. It's not really funny, but you have to maintain a sense of humor. It's just like the politics, okay? So the American journalist, he's not really dead, and that's what we're going to talk about later in regards to the life and death mindset thing, because we have to get a new mindset in regards to all of that too, because that is killing us. The more we think that we're going to die, the more that's going to cause problems for us. Stress. There's like, I'm a Cancer, okay? We'll talk about the moon now a little bit. You know, before I move on to that, though, there's a really, really good herbal formula that I used to sell like crazy when I sold grandma's herbs, called Respiratory Relief. That's from Grandma's Herbs out of St. George, Utah, my home state. And they're a really good herb company, actually, and I have quite a bit of their stuff, their liver formula. I have a lot of their formulas that I buy regularly. So before I move on, I would like you all that have the ability to comment, which means you have a YouTube account. If you don't have a YouTube account, then you can't comment. Hang on, I got to get the soup. So in order to comment in the chat room there, you have to have a YouTube account, I'm sure. So you should do that. Sorry, water always makes me burp. So anyways, whenever I do a holistic consultation, I always ask, I don't always, but I often ask the person to rate themselves. Excuse me. I always ask people to rate themselves mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally from 1 to 10. If you have the ability to write in the chat there what you think that you are, now think about it, okay? Think about it. How strong are you mentally? And write mentally and then 2. No, write whatever you think you are. Physically, write what you are. Spiritually, write what you are. And then emotionally, write what you think that you are. And then what I would do with people is I would start, like, I would look at their weaknesses the most, probably. I would start with their weaknesses because that's what you want to work on first and foremost, right? So if they were, say, a 3 emotionally, and that was their worst score, and everybody please write it down in the comments, like what you think that you are. Be honest. And so say they were a 3 emotionally, I would say, okay, well, let's talk about that. You know, like, why do you think, what specific thing do you think? Sorry, I just had dinner. I hate that. So if you are a 3 emotionally, what specifically is the reason for that? And can we go back in our past and think about what is specifically causing that deficiency? Like, can we go back to your childhood? Can we go back to your teens? Like, what has happened to you? Where did you grow up? What do you do for a living? Is there somebody at work that bothers you emotionally? You know, are you ashamed of your looks or something like that? You know, and so we break it down, and then we'll break it down some more. Then we'll break it down some more, and so that's basically, let me take a look. Okay, Forever Young is emotionally a 4. Okay, so now take that a little bit farther if you want to and say specifically why you think that you're weaker as a 4. Sorry, guys. It was a really good dinner. So anyways, so specifically, why do you think that you're emotionally a 4? And what do you think that you could do about it? Like, we would break it down farther than that. You know, I don't know how far I would break it down, but quite a ways before we started like getting down to the nitty gritty. You know, it's like a pyramid scheme. You got this base reason at the top, like I'm emotionally weak. And then it comes down, and then it breaks down farther and farther and farther until you get to where you're like, well, we've got to find an answer to this problem. And what can we possibly do about it? And it's very simplistic, really. But sometimes you just need someone to, you know, get a good response, somebody to talk to, somebody to reflect on. And that's what I like to do. But let me look at some of the comments real quick and see what they say. What soup am I making? Do you want to see it? Okay. I'll try not to get too close because it'll steam the lens. Does it look good? It's got potatoes. It's got turnips and turnip greens. It's got onions. It's got not sun-dried, but Excalibur dried tomatoes from my garden. It's got black-eyed peas, salt, pepper, and thyme. There you go. And it's done. Okay, what else? Mentally sick due to brain fog from candida. Yeah. Yeah, I can relate. I still haven't gotten rid of the candida, but I can tell you that that's not been one of the higher priorities for me. I just ordered a bunch of staff from you, dear. When will I get it? A bunch of staff? You will get it fairly soon. I'm not sure which order you are. You look like a zombie instead of healing yourself. Now, that's not very nice. Okay. I love soup. It's easier on the digestive tract whilst getting the minerals. Hey, Brett. Hey, be still and know the truth. So, anyways, 3 across the board. Oh, Guar, baby. You can't be serious. You can't be serious about that. You got to be stronger than that to just start your computer. So, anyways, let's talk about muscles mysteriously tightening up. You know, I was a massage therapist. I was a massage therapist for 10 years, and I still do a massage here and there. And whenever I would do a massage, most of the time anyway, to one degree or another, I would get working on people and they would start tightening up against me. And one of the things that you learn when you're a massage therapist is that you have to shake them a little bit and tell them to relax. Relax, relax. And sometimes people would tighten back up again after like just 5 seconds. And you're like wondering to yourself, after many years of doing this, you get to know that the more people are guarding themselves, that the more often they'll tighten up against you, guarding themselves. Okay? So I'm talking about something physical, right? I'm talking about something like I'm rubbing their muscles that are tight and full of chemicals and sore and this and that. And they are tightening up against me. But what I have learned is that people do the exact same thing in all 4 of those regards that I was just mentioning: the mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. We all do it to one degree or another. And the weaker we are in a particular area, the more we will tighten up against people, and in all different ways, all different kinds of ways. And I have learned that the more susceptible people are to injury, the more they inherently, instinctively know that they need to tighten up against whatever, you know? And if you see something coming that's just about to hit you, what are you going to do? You're going to tighten up, and you are going to resist, and put up your force fields. And so you should be aware of your own bodies, because like your mind will not know why your body is doing this. It's like, why am I so tight? Why does my leg hurt? Why does my back hurt all the time now, chronically? All the time, my muscles are tightening up. You see, if I had had health insurance a long time ago, and I didn't know better, I would have just gone to a doctor for all these different ailments that I've had, all these different problems. And I would be full of drugs. But luckily for me, I went to massage school. I've never bought health insurance. I've never even spent 1 penny on health insurance for my whole life. And that has saved me roughly, give or take, $10,000 or $20,000, $100,000. I've saved $100 grand, and I've saved the problem of not being able to go, or the problem of going to the doctors. I wasn't able to go to doctors because I didn't have any health insurance. But you see, I didn't believe in doctors because in my early 20s, they did me wrong. And I started learning about health. And I put 2 and 2 together, and none of conventional medicine's logic made any sense to me. None of it. And so one day I took all of my tetracycline and erythromycin and all of the rest of it, even the over-the-counter drugs, I took all of it and put it in a bag and threw it away. I have a picture of that somewhere too. And maybe next Sunday, I will show you some pictures out of an album. Not a computer, not a cell phone, like a good old picture book album that I have when there wasn't all of that. But so let's see. When the body is going through cleansing, you can experience a whole lot of things, including your muscles getting really, really tight. And it can be very overwhelming. When I moved to the country, especially because I always lived on busy streets, because the apartments, etc., on busy streets are cheap, and I could only afford to live on busy streets, and I didn't have the know-how and gumption to find a place away from busy streets. When I moved to the country and I got away from auto exhaust and municipal water in Brevard 4 years ago, my body just went into this maximum state of release, because I was, and I didn't even know it. I knew it actually, because I've been doing this for a long time. I knew that to a degree I was tightened up. My whole body was tight, and that I was going to go through a big time change in my life, physically, mentally, everything. The first night I got into that hot shower of well water, I'll never forget it. I was just like, oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh my God. There was no chlorine smell, and it just felt so clean and pure, and you could just drink it right out of the shower. And I would go walking in those mountains south of Brevard, and man, sometimes I would just cry while I was walking, but I knew I was in for a lot of major toxin release. And sometimes when you make a crazy change in your lifestyle, like where you live or something, and you can't just all of a sudden ease off on that, because you've moved there, and the only way to ease off on it is to get in your car and go back into the wherever you were before or someplace similar. And so when you're thrown into a situation, like for instance the Tom Hanks movie, like you crash landed into the ocean and you're on an island. So what are you gonna do now? So anyways, you're thrown into a situation, and you may have to, take a break from your cleansing. You may have to ease off by doing something that slows your cleansing processes and isn't pushing you, like, because your body may be so tightening up to the point of where you have so much inflammation. You have so much freaking inflammation that now you're really needing some kind of a painkiller, like heavy duty opium type of a painkiller. And then you get addicted. And anyways, so there's so much to talk about in those regards. And from there on, it might be something more of like, I need to know specifics and talk to a person. So like if you want a consultation and you want to talk about that specific subject and your specific problems in that regard, then you can go to my website, brettsnaturalhealth.com, and go to holistic consultations, and then read through it and send me an email. On that note, I would like to remind you to go to my website and check out my pillows. If you would like to buy a millet hull pillow for somebody that you care about, then you could just go, and then you could put your name as and address and all of that on the left side, and then in the shipping part, just put wherever they are, and I'll ship it right to them. Millet hull pillows are something that everyone loves. If you know somebody with foot pain, one of those foot friends right there, I have 4 of them ready to go out the door right now. Those are so awesome, and all people have to do is watch my foot friend videos and follow along and dig out the tension. Your feet get so much crap in them. The reason that feet and also hands can get demobilized and painful and inflamed so badly, especially feet, is because they're at the ends of your limbs. And the capillaries get smaller and smaller towards the ends of your limbs. You might remember that from school days. They may have told you that. And that's why they're so sensitive on the tips. And if you cut your finger off, it'll be like, ah, and it'll hurt and throb for goddamn days. But so in your feet, the blood goes down and stuff, just like if you haven't been eating right, you've been eating hydrogenated oils or whatever, dairy, various things, your feet can just get crusty. And you know what nasty feet look like. People will get like green feet. What do they call that? Somebody write that, what that's called. I gotta check the messages in a second here, where their toes and all of that are toenail fungus. Ah, God. If you're a massage therapist, you know, some people, they just won't go get a massage because they're so embarrassed. I've had people, I remember people that were so embarrassed from their toenail fungus. They would be like, Brett, I don't want you to work on my feet. And I'd be like, why? And they'd be like, I just don't want you to work on my feet. And I'd be like, come on, you need your feet worked, you know? And it would come out eventually that they had freaking green toenail fungus, you know? And I'd be like, I'm not worried about it. When you get to be a massage therapist, you don't care if people are freaking obese, and especially here in America, I'm telling you. And it's gotten worse over the last 8 years since, or whatever it was, 4 or 5 years since I was a massage therapist. Time flies. But you see it all. I had one kid, I had this bathtub in the upstairs of this carriage house that I lived in Montford in Asheville. And just really good looking young kid. And I said, so would you like to try out I had this big clawfoot bathtub in there. And I decided I'd offer a hot bath to people after they got their massage. And I asked him, if he'd like to partake of that. And he goes, well, would you join me? You have to get used to that kind of stuff when you're a massage therapist, you know. But people are people, and we all have our desires. But when you're a massage therapist, you don't join in on that. And I'm not gay anyway. So what was I talking about? Toenail fungus. What was I talking? I got way too far out on a limb. I can tell you that I am a Cancer, and Cancers are ruled by the moon. And all of that has to do, and I'm very much an amateur astrologer. Okay, I'm just a beginner, total beginner, but I do know some basics. And the moon is emotions. And Cancers are very emotional. And whenever the moon comes around, it is oftentimes, not always, but probably 80% of the time, it is hell for me. Okay. And so I don't know if I should tell you. I've been thinking about an old girlfriend. All right. I've been thinking about an old girlfriend from a long time ago, quite a bit lately, that brings up a lot of thoughts and emotions from back then. And watching a lot of journey videos. Okay. So anyways, yeah. And does anybody else, I'm going to check out the comments here. Does anybody else get really affected by the moon like I do? And who else is a Cancer out there? I come visit you for the summer, Brett. Maybe. All right. I love my millet pillow. Cool, Laura. Cool. Also, people get away too much from calcium. Too much calcium and medicine these days, and contract medicines, drinking milk and dairy, like you said. Stiff, yeah. They don't trust music or massage, Brett. Your voice is always educational and peaceful at the same time. Thank you. Thank you, Bristol and Know the Truth. 33 people watching. Well, cool, cool. And 14 thumbs ups. We need a lot more thumbs ups than that, y'all. Missing the trailer yet? No, but I'm really enjoying the Airbnb income that I'm getting from it. Sagittarius, okay. Cancer the crab, Joe, nice. 0.5, man. I'm Pisces and very affected by the moon. Yeah. Pisces is me. The water signs are very emotional. We're very feeling-oriented people. You know, we're feelers, and us Cancers are homebodies. Homebody, and we stay in our shell. We don't just open up to anybody. You know, I'm very picky and particular about friends, lovers, yada yada. Leo, Tony is a Leo. Yeah, Tony, see, I have a Cancer sun, but I have a lot of Leo. And that's what, you know, I have Mercury in Leo. So that's largely why you can see me sitting here right now, because Mercury is communication, and Leo the lion wants to be in the spotlight and be the teacher. That's Leo, and be the center of attention. And then I also have Venus. I have Mercury and Venus in Leo, and both in the 12th house. The 12th house is like a difficult, the troubles house. Does anybody else know about the 12th house? But yeah, and then I have Leo rising. I have Mercury, Venus, and Leo, and my rising sign all in Leo. So there I am. That's my fire. It's a fire sign, and that's you know, and it's different. That like what I project. The rising sign is what I'm projecting to the world. It's me, but it's not the core of me. What you see when you're seeing me talking to you on this screen is the Leo rising sign entertainer person. But if you say we're a really good friend of mine, like a really, really good friend of mine, I mean, I don't open up about my true, deep feelings about things to just everybody, to just anybody. That's my Cancer, and it's totally true. But I'll Leo you all day long. Woohoo! You know what I mean? So, Leo. Scorpio. Okay, so some of them I don't know really good, and Scorpio is one that I'm kind of hard, Wendy. It's one of the more difficult ones, I think, to understand. It's not just a cut and dry sign. My mom has arthritis in her foot, and I was wondering what she could do to feel better. Also, I've had toenail fungus on one toe, and I tried tea tree oil, and it didn't help. Any suggestions? Well, no name. It really takes some time of doing some real diet changes, in my opinion. People, they think that they can get rid of, you know, you can get your feet cleaned up pretty good, a lot better anyway, if you really focus on some diet changes for a couple of years. It depends on how stuck up they are. You know, remember in school, if you're as old as me, you know, there was a phrase that person is stuck up. Like they have a big ego, you know. But your feet can be stuck up, okay? And your whole bod can be stuck up. The thing that people also don't realize is that if their feet are stuck up, it's very and almost certain that their liver is somewhat clogged up. Their heart arteries and valves and all of that is somewhat clogged up. It's kind of scary. When you study all of these things and you actually experience them and your body opening up over a period of decades like I've done, then you start to then open your mind to everything else in the world, the whole freaking world, and how everything's connected. When they first showed me reflexology in massage school, when I first started learning about reflexology, which is how the feet reflex to all points throughout the body, I was a little bit skeptical, maybe even more than a little bit skeptical about that, because, you know, where's the proof? There's so many people out there that they'll instantly always say something like, well, you show me concrete proof that that's really true, that acupuncture works or that reflexology works. I don't know that it's really even possible to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that those things are real, that they actually are, they exist, that they work. Until you actually have experienced these things, like you got a horrible headache and you're going through all of this mental stress and your big toe hurts like a son of a bitch. When you have experienced the connections between the body, oh, I'm having distress in this area and that area on my foot, that's the exact area that is hurting me. And then you go ahead and you work on the feet for a while, and then the area on your body feels better. And whenever your digestive system is just throbbing from cleansing, and your mouth, your gums hurt like hell every single time, you know that that part of your digestive system is reflexing all the way to the end in your mouth. It's really like, so once again, I'm coming to you from a standpoint of experience, and it counts for a lot. Yes, I've read a lot of different things in books. I don't really like to read a lot. I scan through books, I go through, whatever the word is, books, and I'll pick out this and that, and I'll read about stuff because there's just so much information to take in that you got to learn. If you're sick and you need to learn something, then you don't want to read the whole book. You want to go to the index and find whatever it is that you need to find and read about that specific thing and then apply that to your healing. And so I've done that God knows how many umpteen times in Healing with Whole Foods is one of my favorite books. Healing with Whole Foods, Paul Pitchford. Fantastic book. And other books that I've found really beneficial for my learning. But like I said, I've learned a lot of things just from trial and error and from being a massage therapist. Yeah. So once again, anybody that would like to make a donation and create a super chat, all you do is you click the little $sign on the bottom, and then you can ask me a question, and it'll come up like Vegas. It'll come up like Las Vegas, and I'll be like, oh my God, I got a super chat again. Woo! And it doesn't just go by either. It'll stick on the top, and it'll just stay there until I notice it. And once again, thank you, Mario. Last time donated $4. And thank you, Angela Mendez, for donating $4.99. We'll call it $5. And I hope that I helped you with that, cold and flu question to a degree anyway. And if you want to know, if you want to talk to me more, we can always do a holistic consultation. We've got 32 people watching. Very cool. Cool. We could use some more thumbs ups if anybody hasn't given me a thumbs up. Okay, let me check out the questions. Okay, having cold toes in my right foot only. Interesting, Brett. Yeah, well, you know, I've noticed that whenever my body my immune system is kicking in and trying to fight off dis-ease, the more that's happening, and this is just one of the many things that can be causing cold extremities, but the more that that's happening, the more my body is focusing on the places that need to be focused on the most, and the blood is not flowing in the extremities as much. That's one of the things that I know for sure. And people will tell you, like, oh, I feel so, when your immune system is kicking in and you feel sick, you can tell because you kind of feel flush and you feel cold all over and you want to just get into bed and put a lot of blankets on. You want to put a lot of blankets on and keep yourself warm and really take care of yourself. Don't just ignore it when your immune system is kicking in and trying to fight off, because you see, it's important, if you can, to rest while all of that is happening and do your best to consume liquids. If you can't consume anything at all, just water is good. And sometimes a hot bath is really, really good. It gets you warmed up and it gets your blood flowing better and it helps you to feel better mentally. You have to be careful not to get too hot. I will do this in the future. How do you think about astrology with animals, Brett? My feet were cold until I started massaging them before bed every night with Jamaican black castor oil. Good. Good. Where are you from, Thunderbird? When I was a kid, there was this cool puppet show called The Thunderbirds. You can check that out on YouTube. It was like the coolest, what do they call it? Something Asian, puppetations, animation. I can't remember what they call puppets, but they were not cartoons. They were real puppets. And I've watched the documentary on the Thunderbirds. Highly recommended. Highly recommended. This was it was a British a British production, and it was absolutely incredible. The work that I believe there was 100 people that created all of these puppets and made them move and everything for the Thunderbirds television show. Does anybody remember that? Anyways, watch the documentary. It's really cool. But something like that, I swear they would never partake of like doing something. It would cost them way too much. And I don't know that kids would even appreciate it. It was like something that adults like nowadays still appreciate, because if you were somebody that, and I kind of considered myself to be a progressed being, even when I was a kid, so many different things that I was introduced to and kind of pressured into doing, I didn't feel comfortable about doing. Like football, Little League football. I've thought about that so many times when I thought back to when I was introduced to that and I became the center on my team. And it was like, oh, you mean I'm gonna hit this person with force? I'm going to hit this person with force, or I'm going to tackle this person to the ground. There was this little voice in the back of my head that was saying, why would I want to do that? And my dad started boxing with me when I was 4 or 5 years old. I had a little set, a kid's set of boxing gloves. And the same thing. I was like, in the beginning, I was like, do we have to do this? You know? It was just like horrible, all the shit. And when I get to God, I swear to God, God, when I get to whatever they call it, heaven or whatever it is, I'm going to be like, God, why did you put me through all of that? Seriously. You've always been so calm and clear when speaking in front of a camera or people. You seem so very good at it. Well, Like I said, I think it has to do with having Mercury in Leo and having done all this healing, because I can talk about healing for like weeks. I mean, if I could stay up and just keep talking about it, give me some crystal meth. No, I don't do any drugs. That was just a joke. But any of you that are actually doing drugs like that, I hope that you get off of them. There are some that are, I'm not against natural drugs. I'm totally against pharmaceuticals for the most part. I know that a lot of you, some of you need them, but I'm not buying into them. Let's see. I hear, but will ask me for a refund when I leave this place. They'll be asking for a refund for what? Thunderbirds are go. Yes. Thunderbirds are go. That's exactly what they said. Man, that was the coolest friggin' show. Oil. Opinion on CBD. I just ordered yesterday 4 ounces of CBD oil from Bluebird Botanicals. And I've ordered from them before. Yesterday, I was in a lot of pain. And I think that it does help, contrary to what some people say. I've ordered them a couple of times before. And whenever I'm having regular pain, like I am right now, I'll be straight up honest with you. I'm going through a lot of cleansing. Luckily, tonight, I'm kind of in between a cycle, and I'm feeling decent. When I went down to clean the trailer today from the, excuse me, when I went down to clean the trailer a little while ago, I was like, wow, I can move with no pain. So when you go through these cycles and you feel your body just tighten up when you know that you're going, or you just went through, or you're just about to go through another cleansing, a crazy cleansing cycle, then you just start to learn and you remember, and you don't sweat it so much mentally. That's why I tell you that you need to get experienced and get prepared and know not to just go. For me, I would never just go running to a doctor whenever I experience these pains. I've learned to take care of myself. So many people, the majority of people out there, whenever they have some kind of a problem, it's like they immediately get on their phone or get on their computer and call their doctor to schedule an appointment to see what their doctor can do to fix them. I don't believe that doctors know an inkling, hardly a fucking smidgen about real healing and what people really need to do in order to take care of themselves in a lot of different instances. And nowadays, luckily for everyone, we have YouTube and the internet that we can look up, and we can listen to God knows how many people. We can read God knows how many articles on all of these different ways that we can naturally heal ourselves. And it's just really, really, really cool. And we're so lucky now, and we should feel so blessed. And is there any more questions that anyone would like to ask? And yes, I do accept those super chat donations. I accept donations on my website too. I put a lot of time and effort into my videos and a lot of thought. Like I'll be working on my sewing machine. I'll be working on my sewing machine and I'll be like, I should do a video, or I should talk about this and that, you know, and then talk about whatever I think is important in that regard. And so, or you can buy my products. Remember that Brett's Natural Health is ready to rock and roll. at any time of the day or night. You can buy whatever you want, and I will work my tail off whenever I feel decent enough. So let's see. Mindset that you're going. Okay. So the mindset that you're going to die. All of us, if you were to say to anybody, like something to the effect of that you're going to die, they're going to die, I'm going to die, we all know that we're going to die. We all know that we're going to die someday. You got to go somehow, right? If you got to go, you might as well go jumping off a cliff and experiencing the extravagant craziness of flying through the air. But, you know, I think that the more these cycles, these cleansing cycles that we go through, the more of these emotional moons that we experience, the more connecting with God, whatever you want to call it, Jesus, Buddha, the more of that time that you spend connecting intimately with those, whatever you believe in, the more you have experienced death around you, the more animals that have died, the more friends that have died, the more family members that have died, and the more that you've connected with creation in tears because of these troublesome things that have happened in your life, the more that I believe that you start to understand and get the reality into your body and mind that we're not going to die. Because you don't want people to die. You want to be able to connect with them. And some people do that through seances and stuff. And I don't know about that. They probably do. I believe that people have different abilities. And sure, there can definitely be people that have, absolutely, that have a lot more psychic abilities than other people. Some people, they probably just don't have hardly any kind of a psychic ability or spiritual understanding at all. You know, they're just kind of like frozen in that regard. They're stiff. They like people with stiff forearms. They're spiritually stiff, and they're tunnel visioned, and they don't have the ability to see anything in shades of gray. But eventually, the shit is going to hit the fan for everybody, and we all are going to pray to something or other. When you go to 12-step meetings, you learn. Thank you, Donna. Thank you so much, Donna. Do you want to ask a question? Donna just sent me $5. Thank you so much. That is awesome, Donna. And so, yeah, I think that we get more and more of an understanding within us, and someday they'll actually come to more of a scientific understanding of how energy transfers, it transforms into something else, something new, into a different dimension, something like that. And the more that you have an understanding of that, the less stress that you're going to have. Also, people will say, well, I turned my life over to Jesus, or I turned my life over to the greater power of their understanding. You know, it's not just Jesus that you can turn your life over to. It can be whatever it's whatever you deeply, deeply believe in to be the creator of all things. If you're an American Indian, you definitely won't be turning to Jesus. You'll be turning to the trees. You've turned your life over to the wolves, the trees, the mountains, the sky, etc. That's where they benefit, because that's what they truly believe in. And, you know, anybody that knows me knows that it really, really annoys me when other people say that, like, try and push their shit, their belief system on other people. Like saying, for instance, the one that we've all heard of, the only way is the way, what do they say? Jesus is the only way. Something like that. So it's not true. If that were true, then everyone else that believed in Jah or the Buddha or Krishna, they'd all be not knowing the way, not being able to go to the next existence. Bullshit. And it's really, I'm not going to go too much farther into this. I do like to state my opinion. You all know that. It all really is indicative of someone that is brainwashed and tunnel visioned and not unethical, but uncaring, really. And if you're like that way towards other people with different belief systems, then that's just not of Jesus. It's totally against what the real concept of Jesus is all about. It's against it to be uncaring of other people. So that's the flat ass out truth. Absolutely. And I hope that some of you learn from this. And let's see, what else? Man, that's just about all that I could talk about diet transitions. Okay, so dietary transitions. If you are somebody that's been really addicted to white sugar, and you know that you have to have your fix with that and foods that have white sugar in it that are feeding problems that you have, bacterial problems in your body, invaders, then it doesn't make sense that you go from that kind of a diet. Not most people cannot go from that kind of a diet to a natural diet in which they're not consuming natural sugars and also fats, because that's going to be part of the equation here. People that are consuming a lot of sugar are also consuming a lot of excess and unnatural fats. So you have to make your transition gradually, because you can't go from one extreme, just like a hot glass plate, throwing into cold water. If you do that, it's going to crack. You have to take it gradually. And so people will want to consume a lot of fruit, really, really sweet fruit. And if you go to any store, you'll see crap loads of bananas, and they'll want to drink fruit juice. And that's cool, because any improvement over an unnatural processed diet is a big improvement. You know, don't expect to get miracles overnight. Don't expect to instantly start killing all of your candida if you were totally addicted to sugar, because it's not going to happen. You're going to be consuming a lot of fruit, and that fruit is going to help to cleanse your body, and it's going to help your organs, especially like your pancreas, I believe, to make the transition of getting used to something that's mineralized and not demineralized. It takes a lot of time, many years, especially if you are born genetically prone to being addicted to unprocessed foods, like I was. My mom was a car hop at A&W, carrying out the burgers and the Coca-Cola and the fries full of nasty oils and all of that, and the shakes. That's how my parents met. My mom was a car hop, they called them, which means that they would take all of the stuff out to people in their cars, hang them on their windows. They had these things where they hung the shit on their windows, kind of like those hangers at the drive-in movies. Okay. And then you would have your window half rolled down, and then you'd reach out and grab your burger. Did you hear about that tribe that killed the Christian missionary that tried to convert that tribe to Christianity? No, but it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't. Joe says, in 2015, a beautiful and brainy blonde died. Lisa V. Fowler. Rest in peace with Jaw. Okay, well, cool. I haven't read all of the chats. If you want to be sure and get your chat read, then you need to make a donation. And I would I'll scream. Okay, the next person that makes a donation, I'm going to scream and run around the house I'll take off my shirt and run around the house and scream your name. That's what I will do. So dietary transitions take time. And what you do is you find an adequate substitute for whatever you're trying to get rid of or reduce. And then you start increasing or maneuvering that particular thing into your diet more and reducing the other. And all of these things we could talk about, the specifics of your particular situation, we can talk about in a holistic consultation. All you have to do is friend me on Skype or friend me on Facebook, and then we can talk live. Shell! Seashells! Woo! Woo! Rochelle Stewart! Woo! Rochelle Stewart! Woo! Woohoo! Ow! Rochelle just donated! Woo! Woohoo! Thank you, Shell. Oh my gosh, Shell, thank you for a $5 donation. You rock, girl. And we're gonna have another time where when I'm sitting here sewing, I can just think of things with health to talk about, like how. This is kind of a bummer one. When you're going through all of this cleansing and healing, you are sacrificing your body. Okay, it's a sacrifice, especially in the beginning, because you're breaking it down. You can expect to possibly lose teeth. You can expect to have, I don't know, a lot of wear and tear on your organs of elimination, your kidneys and your liver. And you have to do your best to replenish them and regenerate them with, in my opinion, organ meats are really good in small amounts. And also herbs specifically designed, specifically known to benefit those organs and other organs. Okay. I'm going to check out the questions here. Shell, thank you so much. Thank you. Rochelle is awesome. I hope that you're getting your life back together, Shell, after that horrible fire crap. So true. When I donated a kidney, I ate kidney soup and I healed super fast. Yeah, you have to really go within and say to yourself, do I feel like eating kidney beans? You know, and if you do, then eat them, you know. You got to really know the taste and the feels and how it would make you react if you consumed whatever it was. Good. That's very good. Very good. Thank you, Cybernetic. I love everyone that loves me. It's reciprocal. And also, once again, anybody that has a website that would like to do a link exchange with me, that would be totally cool. Just email me, Brett at brettsnaturalhealth.com. and I'll put a link for your website on my website, and we'll do a trade. So I want to thank everybody for joining me. I appreciate you so much. Joe, it's very cool that you joined in this time with us. And Joe, tell us all where you're at down in Mexico. Oh, Mexico. Never been, really been, but I sure want to go. Oh, Mexico. I think I'll have to go now. I'm talking down about Mexico. A little honky-tonk down in Mexico. Mexico, oh, Mexico. Thank you, Donna. Thanks, Shell. Thanks. Who else give me some money? Thanks, Angela. Thanks, everybody that joined in tonight and wrote comments. And I might take a look at them some more later. But if you want a holistic consultation, please email me and we'll do it. Thanks for joining me. Be well.